Good afternoon. This is Veterans Talk. Ain't nothing but a thing we want you tuned into every Saturday afternoon. I'm Elson McGee, your host. We're here today on May the 23rd, 2020, doing our sixth show on Facebook Live. I want to shout out to all of my Facebook Live friends and hope you're watching today. Today we starting this show off with a very heavy heart with the passing of the Dr. Reverend Dr. Richard Carbo, who was a co-host on this show when we were on internet TV, and he was the pastor of Omega Holiness Church and past president of Concerned Black Clergy of Atlanta, and my friend, who I served as assistant to for over 10 years as his assistant pastor at Omega Holiness Church, and when he retired in 2018, he named me as his successor, senior pastor of Omega Holiness Church. We want to salute Dr. Carbo as a Vietnam veteran who served in Vietnam and was a 20-year military retiree. Dr. Carbo, like a lot of Vietnam veterans, passed as a result of his military service in Vietnam. He died of prostate cancer, which we all know is a presumptive on the Agent Orange list. Those of us that are exposed, actually more veterans have died from the exposure to Agent Orange than actually were killed in Vietnam. Right now we have 15 Vietnam era veterans dying every day from service-connected disabilities. And what worries me as a prior service rep now, but teacher of the program, what bothers me is that the claim process is still slow, and it does not outlast some of the veterans that are service-connected disabled. We're getting veterans that are just coming to the VA for the first time with service-connected conditions from Vietnam. We got to enter this Memorial Day thinking, what is really going on in America with the veteran community? Some veterans are coming out of since Vietnam, having dealt with the burn pits in Iraq, and over 200 and some military bases are contaminated, but not yet talked about to the public. We have to be really concerned with veterans issues, really with veteran issues in a way that we are protective of ourselves. Just because we was exposed to Agent Orange in Vietnam don't mean we have to have an early death. What we need is a better system of medical care for the issues that we incur as a result of our military service. VA, while the healthcare system is probably one of the best in the world, it's overwhelmed. It's not equipped to deal with all of the veterans that they are trying to deal with every day. And I'm saying that veterans, dependents, and active military personnel need to come together and start thinking about their health care, especially right now during the era of this corona COVID-19, which has really taken out more people than the Vietnam War were killed in Vietnam. So we need to really be concerned with this issue on two levels. The first level is protecting ourselves and our families by masking up. Just simply get you a mask that you can cover your mouth and your nose. And right now we got this masking up program going on where we are actually giving people masks. We hope that we don't have to give everybody a mask. Our project is just saying this: everybody needs to mask up, because this is the best way of stopping the spread of the virus among your family and loved ones. We're just going to put it like that. And to think about people reopening the economy and people going back to work, mask up. we got to make sure that people protect themselves as they go out into this environment, going back to work. And those of us that are in our 70s now, which is the average Vietnam veteran, uh, be especially careful. Make sure you are masking up because some of the underlying conditions that we have are taking us out. The COVID-19 is taking us out. And also we need to be concerned with those of us that are dying as a result of the COVID-19. The death certificate is just saying COVID-19. And if you don't know, let me inform you of this. If you die of a non-service connected condition, condition, your surviving dependents won't get your benefits. They're straight up. We need to be very straightforward with this issue because I had a Vietnam veteran who is also a funeral home director call me and said, Rev, listen, we got some things going on with these COVID-19. It was a veteran died. He had diabetes. He had all the other things that we got out of Vietnam, but it wasn't on his death certificate. Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing. But a thing we want you tuned into because we have to have these conversations so that we don't have to have these little sessions where we are upset with VA because VA didn't do what we needed to do. Well, we know that now. What we got to be able to do is come together in a way that we can get the government to overhaul VA, give it legislative command so that every time we get a different secretary, we're going to get a different set of rules or we're going to get a different focus from VA. This is Veterans Talk. We want to make sure that you understand the ramifications of what we lost in Dr. Carver. Dr. Carver was a Vietnam veteran that really helped a lot of people with their benefits and doing stuff that we need done in the community. He died of a service-connected condition, and we need to make sure that everybody understands it, and that everybody is able to. Everybody is able to understand what is going on with veterans in the community. Now, we have to have some kind of way of communicating. So we want you to be able to communicate with this show. You can actually call me directly at 770-895-3260. We want to make sure you understand that because when veterans die, their benefits usually don't have to die with them. If the death certificate is appropriate, then your benefits are carried over. Also, we need to make sure that our families know about the burial department of VA. Under certain conditions, most of the expenses of burial are covered by VA, especially if you're 100% service-connected disabled. I think they will cover almost up to, you will probably be buried for less than $2,000 with VA's assistance. If you're buried in a VA approved cemetery, you might not have any expenses. So we want to be able to talk about some of these things now. Bernard was supposed to be here with me today to talk about the VA claim clinic that we do every first Monday of the month. Now, in this claim clinic, we teach veterans and dependents and anybody that just want to show up how to prepare and file a winning claim. We don't file it unless we can win it. That's our motto in the clinic. We're not filing unless we can win it. Now let me try to explain it. That don't mean that VA won't deny it, but we'll win it eventually. If we prepare the case right, it goes from the Benefits Administration to the Board of Veteran Appeals, all the way up to the U.S. Code of Veteran Appeals. So we can win the case if we do it right. And I can't tell you how long it's going to take. The new system said it was supposed to be much faster, but this system is already overwhelmed with confusion and misunderstanding. And I think a lot of that confusion and misunderstanding is coming from VA employees that don't know how to perfect the system yet. So they need more training. We need more training. So what we do in the clinic, we actually talk about everything from getting you enrolled in e-benefits until, making sure that you got your coverage when you pass. VA benefit cover your whole span of life. And if you get them right, now one of the things that bothered me about my generation of veterans, especially the Vietnam era veteran, is that most of the service-connected disabilities that we have today was not in place when we was discharged from the military. I was wounded in combat in Vietnam in 1968. They didn't have PTSD in place until 1980. Now, what happened to me during those years, you can read about it in Shock Change, Memoirs of an American Combat Veteran. I don't want to see anybody have to go through that when they are coming out of the U.S. military. And we're still having young men discharged today with some of the same identical problems. Might not be PTSD, but the adjustment disorder and the behavior effect disorder that VA is diagnosing veterans with today is just as compelling as PTSD. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing. Now, let me just kind of back up a little bit because this is Memorial Day weekend, and while we talk about Dr. Carver, I want to just remind you that we have the Sons of Atlanta Vietnam Memorial Project. We will be building a monument in Atlanta Historical Piedmont Park before Veterans Day 2021. Now, I would like for, especially those people in the city of Atlanta and Fulton County, to go to this website, www.sonsofatlanta.org. We want you to go to the website. Look at the names that's on the website. Now, these are young men that come from every walk of life in Atlanta, Georgia. They're white young men, they were Hispanic young men, they were Native American young men, and they were black young men. For the first time in history, now everybody needs to know the U.S. military used to be two units. One they called a colored unit and the standard unit. Well, in 1948, President Truman issued an executive order to desegregate the U.S. military. Now, why did they do that? You look at the history book, World War II wreaked a devastation on the young men in America. So when they started looking at how they were going to rebuild that U.S. military, Truman looked over at the colored unit and said, we got the basis for rebuilding. We're going to deactivate the colored unit and cause all of them to train together. So the first time in the history of the United States of America, young men that were coming into the Vietnam era were white, blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans, all lived together, trained together, served together. And in the case of these from Atlanta, 209, and the 58,000 others died together. And as a result of this great experience, this big experiment with integrating the U.S. military, it led to integrating the United States of America. And as a beneficiary of that era, I can say this: we are better together. Our diversity is really our strength. And this memorial is more than just going to be just a monument in the park. We're going to have community centers with stations for Sons of Atlanta, calling volunteers into the community to do the work that they never got a chance to do. We got to remember now, when I went to Vietnam in 1967, the laws was that I had to be 21 to vote. I never voted before I served in Vietnam. So a lot of these young men that we want to celebrate never had an opportunity to vote, but you can vote for them. You can actually vote for them because think about what they died for. They died fighting for the freedoms that we enjoy in this country every day. The freedom of press, the freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, due process in the courts. You cannot have your property taken away from you without due process in this country. That's what they died for. That's what they lived for. They never lived to enjoy any of these benefits. So we gonna set up community centers to make sure that the young men that's going into the military today enjoy these benefits, exercise these rights. to make sure that we have a better society. That's what we are celebrating. That's what we are commemorating in Atlanta, Georgia on Memorial Day. It's a healing experience. It's an experience where we want to come together and let the nation know that we are truly better together, especially now during times where we got politicians, elected politicians, trying to separate us. I've never seen in my 73 years a Senate leader stand up and block bills that were better for the people than not. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing. We got to be able to do what these young men died trying to make sure we had the right to do. Veterans Talk, it ain't nothing but a thing. Now, Anthony was supposed to be here today, so we're still in this thing where all of our team is not really coming together the way that we need together because of the coronavirus and family issues that we have to take care of, so we're going to keep the show going anyway because it is our way of communicating. It is our way of getting the message out so that we can still do a lot of things. I learned a lot since we had this coronavirus, especially the sheltering down. I learned a lot about myself, a lot about my family, and I learned a lot about technology. I know how to do meetings on the phone. I know how to do meetings on the internet. So we're gonna continue this learning curve because the new normal is not gonna be like the old normal. We're gonna be wearing face masks, and we should be wearing face masks for probably the next 9 to 12 months while we discover how can we treat this virus, especially among people with underlying conditions. They used to just say elderly with underlying conditions, but now they're coming up with facts that show that children with underlying conditions are dying from the virus. So we don't want to just stand to the side while the rest of the country deal with this virus. So we started the program Mask Up for the Sons of Atlanta. We will get you a mask. But if we can't get you one, buy one. These masks, the masks I have on right now, cost less than $3. Actually, you can get this mask right here for $3 right now. And but we're giving away the surgical mask, and we don't have these masks to give away. But we got masks that are being made to give away. We got masks that we're buying to give away. But our message is this: everybody needs to mask up, because if we don't, we're not going to be able to stop the spread and focus on a treatment for this virus, because it's going to be taking us out. It's killing our frontline workers, doctors, nurses, people that working in hospitals, people that driving emergency vehicles are dying from exposure to this virus. So it is a serious thing. When you see people out, and that's what I give out my mask now. When I see somebody out without a mask, I just walk up to them and give them a mask. Save your life. Let me help save your life. Let me help save your community. And I have had nobody to say, get out of my face. Everybody take the mask and say, thank you. We need to mask up our community. We need to also now start thinking about the vote. It's time for us to think about voting. The controversy in America right now, and it really ain't no controversy, it's a distraction about the write-in vote. Well, we saw people go to the poll and stood out in the weather and conjugated, and some of them caught the coronavirus. I think that we should focus on mail-in votes, absentee votes, and for those areas that people can actually go vote. I like going to the poll myself, and if I know I can go to the poll on election day, I'm going to the poll on election day. But any way we do, we got to make sure that we vote. We got to be able to make sure that we vote in such a number there is no question about who won or who lost, or what people are trying to manipulate the vote system to win. We don't have to be concerned with that if we just come out and vote our conscience. And most Americans are on the same page, but some of us are too laid back. We need to make sure that we've been to protect the democracy that we are we got for celebrating this, commemorating this weekend. Now, about Memorial Day. Memorial Day is really and truly an American holiday. It was started right after the Civil War, and the first people started celebrating commemorating the dead was ex-slaves, people that had served in the Union military, and they started celebrating and commemorating those people that fought beside them. There are a lot of things that you need to know. How do you celebrate Memorial Day? Well, most of the people celebrate it by congregating with family and friends and doing cookouts and going to memorials, going to cemeteries, remembering those people that died that had served in the U.S. military. Um, we want you to think about that during this period. And when you're thinking about the Memorial Day that you're celebrating, I know everybody's going to be celebrating because all the ribs are gone in the stoves already. You know, I don't know whether the coronavirus got the ribs or Memorial Day got the ribs, but all the ribs was gone in one of the stores I went to. I thought about it, I'm gonna go throw some ribs on the grill. But why you celebrating and commemorating Memorial Day? Share this with your friends. Go to www.sonsofatlanta.org and look at the names. Now, don't just look at the names, but if you feel some kind of way, you can donate right there on the website. You can show your love by helping us raise the money to complete the project. We got the land in Piedmont Park. Now we got to get money to finish the project up. And I want to shout out to City Councilman Michael Barnes for putting out a video mentioning the project, encouraging people to support the project and support Memorial Day. Now just think about this. After Veterans Day 2020, when you start celebrating Memorial Day in Atlanta, Georgia, you're going to have a site in Piedmont Park that you can actually go to and feel the spirit of those that died, giving you the freedom that you enjoy every day. Now that's going to me, I'm excited about that because, first of all, because my name ain't on it, you know. But that's the big excitement, and the thank you, Lord, that I have for that. But one of the people on that site was one of my best friends growing up. Louis Herman, I want to salute Barbara if she's listening, and the rest of your family. We're finally getting recognition for you in your hometown. So we are excited about that probability of, well, not the probability, the reality that we're going to be, that we're going to have this site. So every Memorial Day, I can go out there and touch your name and remember what you stood for. I can talk about what you stood for because we were buddies. I can talk about how you believed in America, how you thought going to Vietnam was going to, enlighten your path in America and the path for everybody else. So I can talk about what you felt and because we shared that with each other. A lot of those guys on the wall come from Washington High School, Price High, Carver High, every school in Atlanta, every school in Fulton County. And we want you to remember that. This is something that's really personal to people in this area. Now, they're building memorials all over the country. Gwinnett County is building one. Cobb County is building one. Douglas County has already built one. They've got one in Savannah. They got one in Macon. Most of the towns are building memorials for their sons, for their lost, so this day can become a personal journey for them, and a personal understanding that they have made a part of this history. So go to these memorials, enjoy your family, but think about why they served. Think about why they died. They died so that you could have the right to vote, first of all. You would have a right to speak out when the government is not doing what you want it to do. You can talk back to your politicians when you feel like you had one that you helped get elected and they broke their promise. We'll talk about that on another day. We're going to have to talk about the issues that veterans can vote for this year. Think about this here. 100% service-connected veteran, disabled veteran, income is right above the poverty line. Right above the poverty line. Thank you for your service. Don't put no meat on your table. America needs to give us a 30% raise across the board. That would put us right at $60,000, $70,000 a year. That's required to have a quality life in America today. If you don't make $60,000 or $70,000 a year, you can't have child care. You can't have an apartment that you can pay for, because a 3-bedroom apartment now costs you $1,000 a month. A car note, $500. Car insurance, $200. So we don't have enough income to live the quality of life that we deserve after sacrificing our health for the benefits that you're enjoying every day. We want to enjoy them too. We don't want the stress of trying to make ends meet at the end of the month when there is not enough money. So we need to make sure that we got this issue in the ears of those that's being elected. I've already sent lawfully out an email to let them know that we're celebrating Memorial Day, but we're looking toward Voters Day, our day at the poll. The politicians in Atlanta, we need to put you on notice. The politicians in Fulton County, we need to put you on notice. The politicians in the state of Georgia, we need to put you on notice. The politicians at the federal level, we need to put you on notice. Veterans are tired of being shortchanged, period. We're tired of going at benefits that been moved to a credit rating. You know, you've got a law that says that every veteran is eligible to buy a house with no money down. Well, why you got so many homeless veterans? The credit rate. It's the way we are doing business that we got to change in America today. And we need to be thinking about it now, because we are in the greatest opportunity that we ever had to do this. You see what kind of problems you get when you can't go out and work. And you got people out there working, dying to make sure that you get the items you need to live. And these people making less than $30,000 a year. They're making less than $30,000 a year. That ain't right. We need to change that system while it's down. They want to bring it up, let's bring it up. But we need to bring up the salaries of the individuals that's doing the frontline work in this country. Like we looking at food on the farms that we don't have people to get off. You know, because the people that getting the stuff out of the food, the people that processing the meat, all of them are catching this virus because we ain't prepared to mass them up and to test them. That's unreal. You know, you would think that the United States of America could afford, like overnight almost, to put enough tests in place to make sure that you didn't have to shut down the government in the first place. If you'd have test, isolate, and trace, you could have had a whole block of people still working. But they was ill prepared. They got caught with their pants down. We need politicians, people, that's going to look out for the people. That's the way this country was constructed. That's the way we need to keep it. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing. But a thing we want you to be tuned into every Saturday. Now, let me talk about Concerned Black Clergy for a minute, since Anthony is not here. We're connected with Concerned Black Clergy of Atlanta Veteran Affairs Committee. Now, what that committee is doing, and I want you people that's in the church listen, we want to connect with your veteran ministries. And if you don't have a veteran ministry, you need to call me, 770-895-3260, and let you work with our veteran ministry to make sure that all the veterans and dependents that sitting in your pews every Sunday are getting the maximum benefits that they deserve. Think about it, pastors. If you help your veterans get their benefit, guess what? Your tithes going to increase in your church. Veterans Talk, ain't never the thing. The way we're going to do that is every month in a claim clinic. Now, I haven't talked with Bernard about this recently, but we'll come to your church if you got 5 people or more. and do a claim clinic. But you're going to have at least 5 people or more that's serious about us working. They come to your church and do a training about veteran benefits and how to get them. The same training we do in the clinic, we'll come to your church and do it. That's what concerns. Now there are 125 churches in Concerned Black Clergy. I know a whole lot of you guys got veteran ministries already, but your veteran ministry is just celebrating this day and Veterans Day. We need to make sure that that ministry is helping your veterans get their benefits. And that's a big help to the veteran, his family, and the community. This is Veterans Talk. There ain't nothing but a thing we want you on top of every week. Now, we need sponsors for this show. We could do better if we had better equipment. We need to be able to get this voice out all over the state of Georgia. We need better cameras, microphones. We're doing what we do, and we got a great producer that's working overtime all the time to make sure that we're getting this show. And they say the people behind the camera make the show, and I just want to salute Tony Evans for what he do here every Saturday. And between the Saturdays during the week, they help us do this show. Now this is on top of what he do in the community. He's a genius, really, and with computers and technology. So if you need somebody to do some work with your computers or technology, call Tony. I'm just putting him out there because he do great work. He do work for my family. I know he do work for a lot of the other guys that's on the task force. So I want to shout out to Tony, thank him for what he do. And we want your donations. Now your donations should go straight to the website, the Sons of Atlanta website. You can make your donation on the website, and you want to communicate that, is it for the show or for the memorial? All you got to do is say show or memorial. Either way it goes, your funds will be targeted for where you want them to be spent. And we make monthly reports to Vietnam Veterans of America Executive Committee and membership to show people what we're doing with the fundings and with the project. So if you got any questions, just call us. If you got anything that you need to help with, call us. We're not just a show, we are the official media voice for the Sons of Atlanta, Vietnam Memorial Project, and Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 1118. With our partners, we have partners with Chapter 1118, BBE. BBE is a private foundation that's designed to help veteran service organizations and veterans directly. And they are partners with this chapter to help this project. There's a difference between a partner and a sponsor. I just want to let everybody know that. A sponsor gives money. A partner gives support. You know, they do more than give money. They give money, they give sweat and blood. I can't tell you how much BBE is out there helping us do different stuff, including, you know, the feeding ministry that we have in partnership with Omega Holiness. They go out and make sure we getting the food every week to make sure we can distribute free food in the community. So we are more than just a talk show. We are a voice for what we do, and we are a voice for the community. So if you're interested, if you got something you want to say to the community and you want to be on the show, just give me a call and we will make it happen. You know, there are several different ways you can get on the show and be a part of the show through your donations and through your sponsorships. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing. Just kind of sum up where we at today. We here first, uplifting the life of Dr. Richard Carver, and letting his family know that we are grieving with them, and we know the pain of their loss right now. So we just keeping them in our prayers, and we will give you the update as we get the update from his family about his final rights and services. So as we get ready to end the show for today, We want to invite you back next Saturday. We are here every Saturday now from 4.
I just question, did you want to show that that video?
Yeah, you can show it.
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay, before we go, I want you to see the video that Councilman Bonds made, and we want you to remember that he is the point man for this project from the city of Atlanta. So we want to thank him, man. I want you to watch this video now. I come back and close out, Tony.
Atlanta City Council member Michael Julian Bond, and I'd like to wish you and your family a very reverent and happy Memorial Day as we take this time out to remember those who've given their lives, who've given their all to make sure that our country, our community, and our families can remain free. We want to thank the Sons of Atlanta and working with them on the permanent Vietnam War Memorial that will be in Piedmont Park. Thank you, Reverend McGee, and all of the volunteers who are involved in this important task. Again, I'm Atlanta City Council member Michael Julian Bond. God bless you, Godspeed, and may God bless America.
Thank you, Councilman Bonds. As you can see, we are moving toward 2021. We need your support. Go to sonsofatlanta.org, www.sonsofatlanta.org. Show your love for what we're doing. And if you got any questions, if you want to do some volunteer work with the chapter or with the project, just let us know. Thank you and have a great day. Be safe. Enjoy Memorial Day weekend and Memorial Day.